live right now. Tweeting out about it. Dungeons and Dragons Character Creation, Aragorn, Nerdologists. Alright, I cannot guarantee this is going to be a great stream. Well, one, it's impossible to ever guarantee it's going to be a great. I think there's some update of some sort. There's a Windows module installer that's working in the background at 18% CPU. There's the system reader. Sorry, that's not at the correct angle. That's using 10% CPU. Neither of those should be doing that. So we'll see what we got here. I've already dropped a shit ton of frames, and that is just climbing. No, actually, that's kind of stabilized. Alright, so that's good. We'll just see how this goes, and hopefully it doesn't suck too badly. Back live for our level 11 Aragorn. So we're gonna continue and just kind of plow through a little bit more of this fighter today. I don't think I'm quite centered yet still, sorry. Adjusting this slightly. It's on my laptop. I do have a webcam, but I haven't gotten that hooked up yet. And honestly, if I had it hooked up today, that would have screwed everything up even more, I'm sure. So we're really looking to get at least to 12 levels. So we're just going to go and level Aragorn up to 12 levels of fighter. So the main reasons to get to 12 levels of fighter that was a delayed, is it gives us a few different things here. So at 9th we get Indomitable for 1 use. We get at 10th we get our martial archetype feature. At 11th we get another extra attack, and 12th we get another ability score bump. So you have, let's just fill this in, 2 extra attacks. Then let's also take Aragorn's dex to 18. So his initiative becomes a +4. This does that. +4 there. I have to zoom in on this for us. Sorry about that. And the short bow is +8 to hit and a +4 damage there. Let's also go straight to the other fun part, which is rolling out our hit dice. So this is going to take us all the way up to level 15. So we need to roll 4 times. Well, it's a 5, 6, 14, and then that takes us up to 22 more hit points for him. 93. I would say for the level that he's at right now, 15th level, which by the way, that also bumps up our proficiency bonus to a +5. So let's quickly take care of some of these numbers. Like and his armor class goes up too. Forgot that nice feature. Like, it's kind of low hit point wise for him. I would say 93 only. But a lot of that comes down to the fact that we left his constitution alone. Like, if we had given him a higher con, it would definitely make sense for him to be higher up. Let's see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else Oh yeah, just this page. His saving throw becomes a 16, which is pretty dang good saving throw for a fighter. And it's off of strength or dex, which is fun as well. So we have the extra attack noted. We've increased our dexterity, and we're going to go to like the features that he gets in those 2 levels, in between those 2 actually, or before those 2. So Indomitable, you can re-roll a saving throw once per long rest. So go over here to our features and traits. Indomitable, re-roll saving throw once per long rest. And then we get another class feature. And so this is at level 10 of fighter. So we get 2 more maneuvers. And our superiority dice turn into D10. I think I had that wrong before. Or what level of this are we? We're 12. We're only at level 15. Yeah, so I had upgraded him before his time when we went up to level 10. But it wasn't actually level 10 in fighter. So, looking at what we can do, let's see. Sorry, I'm going to move the mic slightly here, so this might make a little noise. We have a trip attack. Expend superiority die to hit to add extra damage. Creature makes strength saving throw or falls prone. Large creature or smaller. Basically, you can't just do it to, you can't knock over monstrosities, is what they're saying with this. And then we have one more. We're getting so many of them. We have distracting, we have disarming, we have evasive footwork. Oh, I like that one. I think it would be, it's not, I would say Aragorn wouldn't use it really as a goading attack. He imposes himself, more so. So they make a wisdom saving throw, or if they have disadvantage if they attack anyone but you. So you can see how that's kind of really nice. I'm actually going to put these 2 things on the same line so that I get a little bit more room down here at the bottom. And you can see it shrinks, so if you're starting to lose stuff off the top, it works. However, we have 2 more to add, probably eventually. Yeah, I think we might just sneak into them. So, just looking ahead on fighter here, we're at level 12. So 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, we have 5 levels left that Aragorn can get. And I think we're gonna go straight up the rest of the way. Once he gets that base feature and that little bit into the revised Ranger, I feel like I'm not sure that he goes a ton more into that, but let's double check. Here we have the revised Ranger, so we have a total of 15 levels taken care of, which means we would get 4 through 8. Actually, we're gonna go back and do the revised Ranger here. I'm actually gonna drag the revised Ranger off to my second screen here, just so I can see it, and it's gonna take a little bit less effort to enter in this information. So first things first, zoom in a ways on this, because where it's gonna make a difference is right here. We're bumping this up by 2. We're gonna +2 here, and we're actually just going to take the proficiency straight to 6. So we're going to increase some of these numbers accordingly. 10 for that, 6 for that. Armor class stays the same. Initiative stays the same. And so let's see. I should update the number here. So we're going to finish on 8. 8 levels a Ranger, 12 a Fighter. Going to take us all the way to 20, but before we do that, let me finish updating these numbers. So 10 there. This is a 2 + 6, so it's an 8 insight, 8 perception, and 8 survival. We have a very good passive perception. It's going to be pretty hard for anything to sneak up on us. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Okay. No idea what that means. You don't. And so his saving throw will cap out at a 17 here, which is good for that. We've done our level ability score improvement for the 4th level of Ranger we have here, but let's roll out our hit die. So 10, 15, 22, 30, and 37 more hit points. Very nice. That makes it easy for me. 130 hit points. That's a respectable number of hit points, I would say. Oh, and our wisdom saving throw goes up to be a 2. If you're actually playing this game, you might have done wisdom earlier. Wisdom is one of the common saving throws that comes up, so it kind of would make sense to look at earlier. Now, as we come through here, our next thing that we get, oh, and we do get proficiency in something else. One other thing, acrobatics, because we hit the spell limit like we did for Legolas. So that's just going to be a +10. Give him that extra proficiency bonus, if you don't remember from last time, the extra proficiency bonus instead of spells. Aragorn and Legolas are not magical. They're superior to average human beings or elves in many ways, but they're not magical creatures, so we instead went with every time they would hit 4 spells, so 4 and 8, they got an extra proficiency of some sort, of a skill or a tool. I would have given them either. So acrobatics makes sense. Athletics, insight, perception, survival. Like, that's very Aragorn, I would say. I would consider maybe animal handling, maybe persuasion. Actually, we're going to drop acrobatics for persuasion. persuasion, charisma based, so it's going to be a good +9. But he's good at talking, bolstering troops, stuff like that. So it makes sense. The cats are insane right now, just tearing around like a couple of mother fluffers. So we get greater favored enemy in here. Wrong direction. Greater favored enemy. We're gonna go with fiends. So we get an additional language, which would be Dwarvish. Let's see. The normal stuff we get is +4 damage to greater favored enemy. Advantage on spells, int and whiz checks about GFE. Advantage on spell saves from GFE, which is kind of a cool feature there. Like we, with our greater favorite enemy, now if they can cast spells, are able to deal with that. I like that. I like that ability a lot for this. So scroll back up. So we have our Ranger Conclave, or we have the greater favored enemy, and then we have, oh, we have one more ability score improvement. Forgot about that one. I'm just gonna take this to a 10. I don't think Aragorn's really stupid or below average intelligence, so we're gonna put, just kind of average that out there. And then let's see, fleet of foot and 2 conclave things that we get. We're going to drop those down into this bottom section here with treasure. They're not treasure, but we hold them very dear anyways. So fleet of foot, fleet of foot. You can use a bonus action to dash. That's nice. And then, so our 2 abilities that we get from our hunter. Let's see. We get an extra attack. So, I'm actually going to do a little research. Does an extra attack from a ranger get added to a fighter's extra attacks? So let's see. Okay, cool. So you don't get the extra attack ability. Player's Handbook, actually, on page 164, extra attack. The only class that can expand the ability of extra attack to make more than 2 attacks per attack action is the fighter. So, like if we had somebody who couldn't get an extra attack, say we did a, I'm not sure, a wizard or maybe a sorcerer and a ranger combo. When we hit this level, we would in fact get the extra attack. We could just not have more. Cool. It's nice to know. So I don't have to write anything down there. Woohoo! And then at level 7, defensive tactics. We can escape the horde. Opportunity attacks against you are made with disadvantage. Multi-attack defense. When a creature hits you with an attack, you gain +4 bonus to AC against all subsequent attacks made by that creature for the rest of the turn. Steel Will. You have advantage on saving throws against being frightened. Which could actually be useful in a Lord of the Rings game, but for Aragorn, I feel like the defensive tactic of escape the horde makes most sense. Opportunity attacks are made with disadvantage. I'm kind of going with this one based off of thinking about like all the times that he's come in, and like when they're being chased by the ring wraiths, and how he was able to like stay ahead of them. And I think that makes sense in terms of this character where Aragorn stays ahead of people. Hope that updates. I always forget to do it. Change the title before I get started. I'll remember one of these days. So there we go. We have a fully built out Ranger of the North. 12 levels of fighter, so we get the 3 attacks, and 8 levels of ranger. Like this, generally you want to go straight through for a character. However, I feel like with Battlemaster Fighter, and I'm going to look at it quickly here to see what they get towards the end, like if there's anything really cool. That they get, like going the whole way up, so you get fighter the whole way up. Like the big thing we're missing out on right now is the 15th level bump our superiority dice to a D12. Like that's kind of the coolest thing that we're missing out on at this point. And Relentless, where we can gain an additional superiority die back if we don't have any left at the beginning of combat. It's like Battlemaster, once you have the abilities that you really want to have, that really flavor your character with those maneuvers, you can really dip into other things. You will be missing out on an extra attack at 20th level, but 4 attacks a turn, you probably don't need them. And for Aragorn, like that doesn't make sense. I feel like this is a very balanced, like a very playable character, and one that'd be quite enjoyable to play. Where you kind of do, like you do a few things pretty well, and you can really kind of control the battlefield. Like I think that's probably the biggest thing. And when you control the battlefield, especially against enemies that you really like, or that are your favorite enemy, so like Fiend, well, let's go humanoid, because goblins fall under the category humanoid, I believe, or orcs do. So, and I double checked that before I started playing, but that then gives us, I mean, realistically, on average, spending a superiority die each attack at the end, we're doing, let's see, 5.5, 9, 9 plus 4 is 13. Like, theoretically, with 3 attacks against an orc, like a super powerful orc, we're doing, so 15, 15, 15. Well, more than that, because it's 45 right there, plus we get the extra d8, which gives us another 4.5 points per hit on the last 2, so that's an extra 9 points. So we're doing something like 54 points of damage, if my math is correct, against a goblin or an orc. And that doesn't even count into the fact that it's probably slightly higher than that, since we can re-roll 1s and 2s on average, which is really impressive. And then you think about, okay, well, we're expending a superiority die each time. We could have theoretically, at this point in time, have disarmed, tripped, and distracted them. Like, there could be a ton of different effects on the guy, which would just, like, the Battle Master is really good in many ways. It's the things that you can do. I mean, sure, you never have more than 4 superiority dice, which is a little tough. And I would have to double check. I didn't write it down, which I should have. Superiority dice. That's druid, so we're close. Nope, that's not druid. Never mind. That's monk. Maneuvers. Superiority dice. When you finish a short or long rest, you gain them back. So, yeah, you can blow all 4 of them quickly if you wanted to. And, like, yeah, we could do our first set of attacks, goad, trip, and disarm. Now, it gets up and attacks us again, and then, like, moves off to get somebody else, and we could then chase back up to it and still have the ability to do some other things with it, to make its life difficult. So this, yeah. And I went for the kind of the maneuvers that are more helpful to the person attacking. I mean, also to the other people as well, but man, there are a lot of fun things you can do with it. So there we go, Aragorn. You will notice the one thing I did not do, I did not give Aragorn any feats, considering that we took strength and dex up twice each, wisdom up once, and intelligence up once. So we had six, yeah, I think six ability score improvements. I never once went with anything related to a feat. Aragorn, as compared to Legolas, who does that one thing really well of being an archer, Aragorn's a little bit more all over the map, and so just having those well-rounded skill base is a little bit more important than bumping stuff up. Anyways, I have reached half an hour. I've only dropped another 1400 frames sometime during that half hour, so I will be back on Tuesday with Gimli. I think it's the next one I'm going to do. Gimli or Gandalf. Anyways, with that, peace.